journey beyond imposter syndrome. This is where I invite you into a space where high achievers and spiritual leaders converge to redefine success and self-worth. By sharing transformative stories and engaging with thought leaders, this podcast serves as a roadmap for navigating the complexities of imposter syndrome. It's an intimate look into overcoming personal barriers tailored for those who value wisdom, leadership, and intuition in business and life. Join me at the Humble Warrior Podcast with Alani Bankhead. Welcome to the Humble Warrior Podcast, you guys. I'm so excited today because I have social media guru Danny Seliger here with me. Okay, guys, listen. I know you're not normally into the whole likes and all that stuff, and the likes themselves are not important. What is important is using different tools to engage your desired audience to create the impact that you want. Because if nobody knows about your amazing stuff that you create, you're not going to be able to help the people that you really want. So Danny himself, I am in the same group coaching cohort with him, which is where we connected. He currently, as of today, has just under 100,000 followers on his Instagram. And 5 months ago, guys, he only had 1,100. So we're going to talk about his whole process and why this is important for you, heart-centered world changer, in serving your community and the power of getting your message out. So Danny, welcome to the podcast.
Lonnie, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Okay, we're just going to jump right in. Tell me about yourself. How the hell did you get here?
Well, I think the best way that I've put it is I was born in 2002. So right on the brink of having a childhood and being a full-blown iPad kid, right? So we had a bit of both, and as a result, I became social media kid. So I've been making content since I was 12 years old. Our first channel was like a Dude Perfect equivalent for anyone that's heard of Dude Perfect, like the trick shot guys. We were up next. So we'd go around, like, you finish up school, knock on the doors, and you'd be like, yo, homies, like, you're trying to go make some trick shots, we'll put them on Instagram. And if you look hard enough on Instagram, the videos are all still there. So that was my first start on social media. Stuck with it this entire time. I can't ever remember a time in my life where I wasn't making videos. We had the Dude Perfect channel. We had a wiffle ball channel, my friends. We had like a meme and skit channel. I grew on Instagram pretty big. We did a lot of TikToks when COVID was happening, and posted my volleyball highlights as well. And then now just my tagline is kind of like grow social media accounts aggressively, because I'm a believer that the best kept secret, being the best kept secret, doesn't pay the bills. People got to know about what you do and who you are. So that's a super brief intro, but I'm a college dropout. I had perfect grades when I was there, D1 scholarship, left, and it's always a fun conversation at Thanksgiving the first couple of years when you say you left perfect grades and a full scholarship to make Instagram videos. But safe to say at this stage in life, it's been working out nicely. So.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that is quite a wild background that you have there. And I love what you said about being the best kept secret does not pay the bills. And that is such an important thing that my audience struggles with. Is it's called the Humble Warrior Podcast. My listeners are humble to a fault, where they give and give and give. They can't pay their bills. They have to close their businesses or nonprofits. I come from the justice space, so a lot of human trafficking, counterterrorism, counterintelligence, and the number of nonprofits, so the space, and especially human trafficking, there are the most amazing humans and you have the biggest asshole humans at the same time. But the humble people don't offer their gifts, and they're not talking about what they're doing because they're too busy doing the work. And oftentimes they have to close because they don't have the money coming in, while these other narcissists are out here marketing their stuff. They're not actually doing the work. And there are lots of examples of that online, and they're being prosecuted, and it's not a good look for the community. But all that to say, I appreciate you saying that, because I'm constantly telling my clients, I'm like, it is not helping anybody for you to keep yourself small. So I'm super stoked to talk about your process. And okay, I'm going to ask you kind of an awkward question next.
Run it.
Because you call yourself Professor Danny on Instagram. That's your handle. We're going to put it in the show notes. Okay. So you call yourself Professor Danny. You have 100,000 followers. You do social media stuff. On what planet did you decide that you were going to do this and be successful? What happened in your mind for you to be like, I'm not a college graduate, but I'm going to do this anyway. And I'm going to teach people how to do so. Like, you are the antithesis. Like, most of my people would be like, no, I can't because I don't have a degree and all this stuff. So, like, how did that happen?
Yeah, yeah, I love that question. And the first thing I want to say is if you're listening to this and you identify as a humble warrior, someone who's going in and like putting product and people first as opposed to marketing, I just want you to know you are my kind of people. My enemy are the people who are focusing 5% on product and 95% on marketing. So, although I am a marketing guy and I love getting eyeballs on my stuff and on my client stuff, I am a product guy to a fault. And it took a long time of just like dealing with the head trash because odds are like we've had experiences in the past where like people have ripped us off and you kind of got like a snake oil salesman that maybe sold you a course or something. And now you're like, oh well, I never want to be like that person. So
Right.
I'm just gonna never tell anyone about the awesome thing that I've been building for the last like 3, 4, 10 years of my life. So I wanted to preface by saying like I understand that fully, and it's a lot of head trash that you got to work through. I think the first step is just understanding that it's there, like understanding that this is an issue. Like okay, I'm working really hard on my stuff. Maybe I left a 9 to 5 to start my business, and I've essentially bought myself a 6 to 9, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. plus with minimal pay as it goes for most of the time and as it goes for 90% of businesses. So I wanted to start this off by saying like if you are a humble warrior, like you are my kind of people. Even though
Yes.
even though I've been introduced as the antithesis. But what I what I will say though is it takes, regardless of what you're doing, it takes a lot of gusto, it takes a lot of effort. But more importantly, it takes a lot of building and like being in alignment with what you want to do. So I never really had like a lot of mentors growing up. Like there was never really someone I had looked up to in the business space or in the fitness space that like I wanted to be like. I had a lot of examples as to like what I didn't want to be like. So it's kind of like how I don't know what I want to do, but I know like I don't want to do this. So like let's just try everything that I can and figure it out. And that's been the one thing that I think like people I don't like hearing it because I've been in the game for a while, put quotes around the game, but like people are like, oh dude, like you're 22, like you're really far ahead. I'm like, honestly, I'm not. Like I've been doing this since I was 12. The one like 10 years in the social media game, like who's been posting consistently for 10 years on social media? Like I'm new to this. But what I think the one big thing is that set me apart was I was willing to just try a bunch of things at first. Like the Brand Sharks, the company that I have right now that helps people grow their social media, this is my 10th business. Like I was flipping couches, I was day trading, I was trading crypto. I even had a business where I would buy and resell shorts and I'd make like $1,000 a month doing it. Real thing. I still have probably like 30 pairs of them at my mom's house that never got rid of. So I was trying everything, just trying to figure out what landed. And I was finishing up high school. I took a gap year, tried to figure out some more stuff. And then I got an offer to play Division 1 volleyball at Long Island University, which was starting up a new program. Going Division 1 was always a dream of mine. I didn't really want to go to school, but I was like, I can be an entrepreneur my entire life. This is the one chance I have to go down this path for at least a little bit. So I went. We did some pretty cool stuff there, but I also started my own agency while we were there, helping people grow on their social media. So I kind of like I was going to class, playing volleyball, and then like I had this thing on the side that I was doing, and this thing on the side that I started doing started picking up some steam. So I decided after 2 years, it was a risky choice, but I knew it was what I had to do. So I made the leap of faith. I was living in New York City at the time, going to school there. I had perfect grades, D1 scholarship. I had a girlfriend in school at the time. That had my like I was the easiest story to tell your friends as a parent. Like I was the perfect like kid, right? And then I just left it with no real reason on the board. Like it wasn't like, oh, I'm failing out school. I hate boy, boy. This I just left. And then I moved to Florida to be around some guys I was doing business with at the time. And it was a very risky choice, but I think that you either make the pain of taking the jump now or you endure the pain of not making the jump for life. So for me, it was like, I'm either gonna just like rip the band-aid off and have the sting, or I can like spend 2 more years doing the school thing. Because that's what everyone told me. They were like, hey, bro, like 2 more years left. Like it's only 2 more years. Only 2 more years. I would have graduated a month ago if I
Wow.
would have stuck with it. And in the last time, I've been to 20 countries, met with over 100 clients, grown tons of Instagram accounts, grown two of my own, and just like I've lots of life experience, lots of losses for sure. Which if anyone's been following my story, like lots and lots of losses, but like those are lessons that couldn't have been learned in the classroom. So the way that I view it is like you either win big, which happens slight bit of the time, and most of the time you lose, but you get a good lesson. So there's a Hormoziism I like a lot that he says he's like intelligence isn't the lack of making mistakes. It's a lack of learning from them. So it's like how many times does the same mistake have to happen over and over again for you to learn from it? If it takes you 10 times making the same mistake, then maybe you're not as intelligent. But just because you made a mistake one time, you didn't know. Like
Right.
you had to go make those mistakes. So I've always been of the belief like I'm just gonna go figure out where all of the landmines are. If I want to get through the obstacle course and not step on any landmines, the way that I'm gonna do it is just go find out where all of them are. I'm gonna go step on all of them, but then like go remember where they are. Okay, well that one was there, that one was there, that one was there, that one was there. I'm not gonna step on them again. And then all of a sudden you can just kind of waltz through a field of landmines and people go, how'd you do it? You got lucky.
Right. Oh my gosh. There's so much to unpack there, and I'm loving all of this. So, first of all, when it comes to imposter syndrome, and if this is my listener's first time here, it's the belief that you're not good enough qualified
Mm,
for your title, position, accolades, awards, positive feedback, and that eventually the people around you are going to figure out that you're an imposter and your life is going to blow up, right? And so for you, your mindset is very different from I think what the kind of not average person, but like my average listener is like the world tells me I have to behave like this, right? You go to college, you finish college, you get the 9 to 5, blah, blah, blah. And here comes Danny, like perfect on paper. And you're like, I'm just going to light this on fire and I'm going to take a risk and go do my thing, right? And I love what you said about I can either experience the pain now and take the risk now, right? Or I can experience the pain later of never having lived my biggest life.
mm.
And that is a number one that I want to foot stomp for my listeners because it's going to be pain no matter what. And I know for me, I left my W 2 officially. It's been almost 4 years now. But I tell people I would rather the pain of entrepreneurship and betting on myself than the pain of being in a W 2 where I'm contributing. I'm not saying the missions aren't important, they're not helpful, but you get to a point where you're like, I can do it better.
Mhm.
Right. And so I'm going to bet on myself. And you are the best investment you will ever make. I feel like you have thoughts about that. I see
Yeah,
you. I see the wheels going.
I have a massive thought I want to unleash about imposter
Please.
syndrome,
Let's hear it.
because I think I have a very big fluctuation, as we all do as entrepreneurs, of like, wow, I'm literally the best. Oh my gosh, I'm literally the worst. Like every day, like sometimes it comes in waves. Like you walk out of the office, like yeah, I'm literally the best. Like chest is pumped from time to time, and then like a few things go wrong and you're like, oh, am I even like, what is life? Like why did I put myself in this situation? And it's like every day you experience both of those.
Yep.
So it's
Yep.
like it's a weird paradox between just like a superiority complex and inferiority complex where you have both
Right.
of them.
Right.
And I've tried to squash the inferiority one as much as I can because I think I had some of the worst imposter syndrome ever. So when I talk about making content since I was 12, I grew a page by any means necessary, whether it was like running advertisements, promoting the page, posting whatever the most viral content was. Like I did whatever I could to grow this account. And I got it to 1.7 million followers on social media. And people would seek me out and be like, oh, I want to grow my personal brand. Your personal brand is so cool. I want to work on my personal brand. And I knew deep down that like this page was growing off of memes, ads, 10 years of posting a bunch of different stuff, just like building it all up. And I hadn't built like a personal brand because I had this account and I just swapped it over and like slapped my name on it. And then now I'd have this big account. People would ask me for like, oh, yeah, you got 1 million followers on Instagram. Like, help me do mine. And I could definitely help. Like, I knew a thing or two about social media, but deep down, I was like, people are viewing me as this like 1.7 million follower like social media like guru, and it was eating at me. Like I like you have difficulty like looking yourself in the mirror at some point where you're like, okay, like these people are viewing me as this because I have made choices, and now I don't feel like I'm the person I'm saying I am. So something has to be done about that. One of two things can be done. You either continue down the path or you make a drastic move, which I'm working on right now. The drastic moves that I've made in life have all turned out awesome. I've you kind of know what's like you're just, I'm gonna do it and make it work. It's not the decision, but what happens afterwards that makes it successful or not. But what I did, and I have never to this day, and I don't know if I ever will, like, so much backlash from people that I know and like advisors when I deleted the account and started fresh. Deleted. I was like, what are you doing, bro? Like, literally, what are you doing? For me, it was a personal thing. I was selling great off of the account. Like, the business was healthy, the account was healthy, but like, I knew deep down, like, I am misrepresenting myself. So I left the account, let it go, and I started Professor Danny, took it seriously in February of 2025. And that was like a zero follower account right when I started, of course. And I was like, I'm gonna do this thing the right way. I'm gonna grow it as me. I'm gonna grow it as Danny, and I'm gonna outwork my imposter syndrome because if you have the imposter syndrome, this might be a painful truth that I've found to be true. This is just Danny talking.
Right.
It's there because there's some truth to it, but that means it can be outworked when it comes to social media now, I had the chip on my shoulder. I'm like, okay, I just took my account back to zero. I burned the boats, and now I'm here and I'm gonna grow it, and I'm gonna show myself that I am who I say I am and that I am really good at this stuff. And it took me 3.5 months to really start gaining some traction. And as of today, we're at 98,000 followers. We're getting close to a big milestone. And it's and now I'm like exuding energy about social media because I'm like I validated it to myself. And I was like, okay, I am who I say I am when it comes to stuff. And I believe, at least on the social media side of things, I have outworked that imposter syndrome because like
Yeah.
to a point, you have a lot of people following you, like lot of people following you, and they think you are this way, and maybe you are, but it's like I don't know, right? Like I don't feel good about this, so I got to
Huh.
live the truth and
Can
just
we unpack this for a second? Because this is really fascinating. So you're like, I had this other account and it was amazing, right? It took me a long time to get it up to here. And then I flipped things over, put my name on it. And all of a sudden, when all the accolades and stuff came up, I felt like I was not being true to who I should have been. But you created the account, you're the one who built it up. So where was the disconnect for you in terms of, I don't like, I am this account, but I don't deserve the success and the
it's
recognition?
a different game. If you tell me, Danny, like gun to your head, make an account go to 100K in 1 month, like I could do it. I wouldn't post videos of myself though. Like I would find different types of content that was just the most viral stuff, and I would get it out there. Now, the people who I was helping, it's like
Okay.
help me grow my personal brand, right? Like
I
help me
see.
get my name out there because your personal brand is so good. And I personally, like, I was like, man, do you just talk about how like you've grown this account like this, or do you have this big
Yeah.
plan? And that to me was to this day the toughest decision that I've made. I'd imagine there's going to be tougher ones down the line. I'm a naturally pretty confident person, and I don't really care
Yeah.
what people think about me. But when my hand was hovering over the button to post the announcement that I was like erasing the account, it was actually shaking.
Okay.
I was like, man, like this is crazy. Uh,
Okay. This is so good because what I'm hearing you say is I was reposting the memes or whatever. It wasn't really me. Like it was you, but you were hiding behind all the other stuff. So as soon as you started presenting, like putting yourself in the light, that's when all the imposter thoughts came up. So Professor Danny is actually you saying, this is who I am. Here I am, front and center, no apologies. And that is scary as hell.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Okay.
it's like okay, this is my page, this is me, and there are a lot of people that are watching that know me as Instagram guy that can grow accounts really fast. And now you make this big of a move and you go back to zero. And it's like, okay, what's this like? There were a lot of people that like watched the journey. And I can say right now, like the people that have seen me at both stages are ones like, okay, wow, like that was pretty cool. Like it
Okay.
just
Yeah.
my cardinal point with this is like I use this as a really big example, but we have lots of imposter syndrome in different areas of our life.
Of
Like maybe we
course.
feel like we're an imposter in our relationships, maybe we
Yep.
feel like we're an imposter in our business, maybe we feel like we're an imposter when we get on social media. I use this as the biggest example in my life that I can think of to prove that like if you're feeling some type of way, maybe lean into it a little bit and ask why a few more times. If you ask why a few more times, you make it a concrete thing. It's like, oh, okay, maybe I am out of line in this area. Because for anybody that's like, I think that when you're truly living in your truth and there's nothing but integrity and there's nothing but face value, it's difficult to feel imposter syndrome because you just
Right.
wake up and you're the same person to everybody. A mentor of mine, he introduced me to the word congruence. Thoughts match words, match actions. I'm thinking the same things that I say. I'm saying the same things that I do, and I'm thinking the same things that I do. Like I'm a fluid person. Like I'm not like, oh, I'm gonna be one type of way around Alani, but then when I talk to my team, I'm gonna be a different person. And then when I get home and I'm seeing my mom, and I'm gonna talk to her differently. It's like
Right.
everybody gets the same version. And I believe that that's congruence, and that's just the highest form of happiness and like unimposter syndrome that you can get to. But it's not a still state. Like you have to work towards it every single day. Like
Yeah.
every choice you make is either bringing you closer to congruence or further away. And I like the word so much. It's actually the name of my podcast, and I'm trying to live into it as much as I can. It's really just, am I the same person around every single person? Do I talk to
Yes.
clients the same way that I talk on a podcast, the same way that I talk to my team, the same way that I talk to my brother, the same way that I talk to my mom, the same way that I talk to my dog, the same way that I talk to myself? Is it all the same? Or is there misalignment in what
Yeah.
I'm saying to different people? Because like imagine that. What does that equal? If you talk to clients one way and then you look yourself in the mirror afterwards and you're thinking something different than you just said to that person, you're out of alignment. In if you break it down into as simple a form as possible, it's like that kind of is imposter, right?
Yes. No,
Look
it
at
literally is imposter.
if you look it down to the nuances, you're like, I would ask. Probably a very logical person. It's like, am I being an imposter? Not how can I meditate myself out of this state of feeling like imposter syndrome. It's like, look yourself in the mirror and it's like, am I being fake in one area of my life or more? Why do I feel this way? Okay, why did that pop up when I immediately thought of that? Why? Oh, okay. I probably am not who I say I am in this realm of my life. Now we have a tangible thing that we can go work on.
Yep.
And
Yep.
we work on it every day. And then guess what? You wake up every single day. Maybe it's not fixed yet,
Right.
but you know, and that's the beauty of all this is only you're gonna know if you're
Right.
working towards it every single day. Because if
Yes.
I say I'm gonna grow this business really big, and I wake up at 10:30 a.m., immediately go out to have brunch and mimosas, come back, throw on a football game, and then go hang out and have beers with my friends, like I am so out of alignment. I
Totally.
said I want to grow my business, but my calendar is not reflecting it what's
Mm.
so I
Yes.
am an imposter to myself. Maybe I'm not an imposter to the world, but like I'm an imposter to myself if that's the case. So to me, it's like, what's the goal? Are we actually gonna go follow that goal? To like the more days that you can wake up on time, if you set an alarm for 5 a.m. and you don't really have to be up until 7 and you wake up at 6:30, it's like, well, I told myself I was gonna wake up at 5. And no one's gonna know that
Right.
I didn't wake up at 5 other than me. You win those battles, you're confident, and when you lose those battles, you're not, because you're the
Right.
only one that knows. And
Exactly.
it was something I don't know if the podcast had started or not yet when we were talking about this, but I was like, I'm a believer that true happiness just comes down to how well you sleep at night. Like if I've given it everything I've got, if I'm living in alignment, I can hit the pillow at the end of the night and just like it's a different feeling when you gave it everything you had and you stayed in alignment. You're like,
Yes. So that is such an incredible point is the measure of success, right? So imposter syndrome often is dictated by someone else tells you what success looks like and you're chasing that. So you're out of congruence with yourself. In my world, we talk about the psychology term for that is the cognitive triangle. Your thoughts lead
hmm,
to emotions, which lead to your behaviors. So if you have a behavior you don't like, you can use the emotion to identify the subconscious thought that's governing that. And your point is, at the end of the day, success for Danny is when my head hits the pillow, am I going to sleep well at night because my head, heart, body, it was all aligned? That's it. And for someone coming out of a high achieving space, that's kind of wild, right? Because it's like, I'm not allowed to define success on my own terms. So, how did you get to this space where you gave yourself permission to do that?
I love this question. And one thing I want to touch on and wrap it up with a bow is you said something very powerful that I want to make sure everyone picks up on. You said success for Danny is blank. This is everything that I say is just my thoughts and opinions based on my life that I think may have an effect on someone listening to this. By no means am I saying like you need to live like this. This is what success is. So I really like you said success for Danny is this. It's important to give exclamation points to that. But in terms of giving myself the permission to like define what success was, I've been lucky enough to have some great mentors in like my early 20s. Like after I dropped out of college, I found some really good mentors because like the type of people you want to be like the type of people I wanted to be like were the ones saying respect for dropping out with the good grades and with the scholarship. The type of people I didn't want to be like were the ones that were like, "Oh, bro, like, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, I'm not really trying to be like you." So like, I don't opinion invalid. Like, let's listen to. And then it was like, I remember there was a gentleman by the name of Fred who came in and gave a speech. He's like real estate multimillionaire in New Jersey, like drives a Ferrari. Like he came in to give a speech at our marketing class in college. And I was like, man, like I want to be like this guy. Like I walked up to him afterwards. I was asking him 21 questions. Everyone was trying to ask him questions too. I was just like hammering him with questions. I'm like, I've never met anybody like this before. Like this is an entrepreneur. Like let's do this thing. And I made a post that said I dropped out of school. And Fred he knew I had good grades. Like we had chatted from time to time in between, but he swiped up because he Long Island was his alma mater as well, and he goes, "I love it, bro. Good stuff." And I was like, "Really?" So the guy who was like idolized at the school graduated from the school, and one guy that I want to be like from school, he was telling me good. I was like, okay. All the other people they weren't, but this guy with the Ferrari guy was telling me good. But everyone who is stuck in the 9 to 5 and doesn't like their life, they tell me, oh, well, you should wait a couple more years. I said, okay, that's good. So after that, I started seeking out mentors. I was like, I want to get around the right people. I want to get around people who can take me under their wing. Like I want to start bringing the future closer to me and like learning from others' mistakes as opposed to just making them all myself. And I had one mentor that told me something I'll never forget. He goes, Danny, in your 20s, they teach you to get in the game. In your 30s, they teach you to move up in the game. No matter what you're doing, just get really good at it. In your 40s, they teach you to keep up because these 30-year-olds are getting so damn good. And then in your 50s, you ask, what do I really want? He's like, don't wait until your 50s to ask what you really want.
Yep.
Ask it
Oh,
now. And
that's so good.
I was like, interesting. So I had a lot of time to think about that. I was like, wait a second, like I can just pick what I want. Whatever is important to me, I can just go for. And the
Yep.
people who are going to be around me, the ones who are going to be in alignment with that, they'll attract themselves to me. And the ones who aren't, like, awesome, go do your
Right.
thing. Like, I'm not for everybody, but like
Totally.
I'm gonna live my life the way I want to, so that I can feel good when I sleep at night. And I would hope
Totally.
one would do the same thing. And if it's in tandem with me and we cross paths and we have synergy together, then excellent. But if not, also excellent, because we're all gonna be living our own lives. So in terms of that permission, it was really something that my mentor told me. He was like, dude, don't wait until you're 50 to ask what you really want. What do you
Yeah.
want?
Oh, that is so good, dude. And it's interesting because I have a background in human trafficking and terrorism and spy hunting and all this stuff. And it's fascinating because in the cyber world, if we're really honest, it plays out like you say. When you're in your 20s, you're like, I just want to play, I want to be part of the team. And how can I do that? And there are all these people telling you you're not smart enough, you're not wise enough. Your 30s, you start to figure it out. Your 40s, you become a boss. By the time you're 50, like you're running things, right? And when I go teach these anti-trafficking courses now, because I specialize in cyber child exploitation, I'll tell people, I'm like, hey, who are my like social media guys that like to cyber stalk their exes? And there's always two every class that are like, and I'm like, you're my intelligence analyst. And literally, I tell the old hats, I'm like, your cyber experts are all under the age of 22. And you're not leveraging them because you don't respect them because of their age. But they know more about the technology than anybody does, right? When I used to do undercover chat operations like to catch a predator, I literally, like, we're on every platform and there are thousands of platforms and I don't know them as well as the kids do. So I literally will go to teenagers I know. I'm like, hey, do you know this platform? Like, how does this work? And show me, like, how do you, and they're teaching me stuff, right? And I'm in my 40s. But the point is, I think to your point, A, defining success on your terms, number one. Two, if you really want to be successful, you have to be open to learning from people who are completely different from you and find the value that they offer to the mission that you're working. It's all about collaboration and co creating because my weak points might be covered by your strong points and vice versa, right? But when we collaborate, we get more efficient, better results. If you're in business, you make more money, frankly. So I love the idea of, and actually, this is another point you made that I think is brilliant. So like most of the time imposter syndrome is looking to see where it can be validated, right? So the second someone's like you're not good enough or you didn't do this well or whatever, your imposter's like, see, I told you you're not good enough. For you, it's not that you seek external validation, but you are capturing data points to say this is a person I admire and I want to be like them. When they tell me good job, that's an indicator that you're on the right track, right? When these guys over here that I really don't respect that much, and I definitely don't want to be like them, right? When they're telling me or giving me feedback that I'm not doing well, do I really want to listen to their feedback? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, literally.
Huh.
So,
Just up in one ear, out the other. Thank you
yeah,
for the opinion.
yeah, and I love that tidbit because it's literally flipping the imposter on its head. And ultimately, I also wanted to point out your handle, so at Professor Danny, is such a perfect example of what I try to illustrate through my business, which is the thing you think is your weakness is the key to unlocking your greatest power.
Mm.
And in your Instagram bio, you put like college dropout, right? But you call yourself a professor. So most people would be hiding the fact that they dropped out of college, and you're like, nope, front and center. This is who I am.
Exactly, exactly. That to me, that's congruence. Because like, all right, hear me out. I have a bit of a theory on this,
Okay.
on just on being yourself.
Yeah.
So I'm a person I might get, and I get blasted for this sometimes. I like dogs, but I never want to own one.
Fair.
Like I run nice solo. The dog it sheds hair everywhere. I'm allergic to it. I have to pick up after it. I gotta feed it. It's another person I gotta take care of. So I don't want to have a dog. Let's say that I'm going out on a date with this girl who is just so awesome. And she goes, Danny, like, are you a cat person or a dog person? In my head, I'm like, neither, honestly. Like, I don't, but I say, oh, dog, I love dogs. I love this because I saw that she had a golden retriever in her Instagram. I'm like, oh, I love golden retrievers. Oh my gosh. Like, I love them. And, oh my God. And we could get along. What does that look like extrapolated out over time? Let's say it goes so well. You start dating, you move in together, and she's like, I want to get a dog. Now you've got two choices, man. You either say, oh, by the way, I don't actually want a dog, or you say yes. And then you get the dog and you resent the dog and the person. So at its most extrapolated point, you made a terrible choice by lying, by not telling all of the truth.
Mm.
Let's live another reality where we're out on the same date and she goes, Danny, are you a cat or a dog person? And I say, honestly, if I'm being honest, I don't really like either. Like, I don't really like cats. I'm not a cat person. Dogs are cool, but I'd never want to own one because I'm allergic to them. They shed hair everywhere and like I have to pick up after it and all that stuff. So honestly, like, might be like sue me, but I'm not a huge fan of dogs. The girl could be, oh, dang, and then we don't get along. But there could be one that goes, oh my gosh, yes, yes, I've been trying to say that. No one understands me, and you get me, and oh my God. And then now you have an actual connection, and it's stronger because it's something that's rare. So I'm gonna give everything that it's all out. I'm not an open book. You can know anything you want about me. Because for me, it's like if people are around me for a different reason or because of something that I like didn't share, they well, like imagine I stayed in school for 2 more years just so I could get a degree, and then people would be around me who like value the degree a bunch. Of, oh wow, you got this go, you went to Harvard, you went to this, and now it's like I don't even like the people who are around me because they're only around me because this thing I wasn't 100% truthful about, living in my truth. So I'm personally just gonna put it all out there. And then the people who get along with me, the people who click with me, they go, okay, that guy's a little crazy, but like I like it. Like that's my kind of person. Now the people who are around you are like it's just great energy because everyone's there because they want to be. I think that financial success and business success is a base level of competence meter in men. Like you should do well in business, you should do well with your
Right.
finances, but I think that where so many people that are like, I know billionaires that have gone wrong with this, and it's one of my worst fears, is just the people who are around them. Everybody's around them for the money, and they don't have a
Yep.
good relationship with their family, or they're getting divorced,
Yep.
or their wife wants to divorce them, or their kids don't
Yep.
actually look up to them. But it's like, oh, I'm worth 3 billion as opposed to 2 billion because I worked all these
Right.
extra hours and stuff. So I I think that a massive measure of success is like, am I sitting down to dinner when I'm 56 with people that I actually want to be there with? Or
Yes.
like that I wake up and I'm like, man, I'm happy to see John today. Not like, oh, freaking John. Like I wish I didn't like end up getting along with him back earlier when we were friends because now we're in too deep and I can't be like, oh, dude, we're not friends. So I was always like, look, I'm just gonna be me and my people will attract themselves. And it's tough at first because guess what? Like right when you start acting like that, and that's not even acting, it's just like being yourself. Right when you start being like that, people are, oh, you weird, you changed. No, dude, I'm just being me. And at first it's tough because you're not around that many people, but man, when they start flowing in, like you have a few of them right now, but you only need a few, only need a few dogs. Like that's, but real people that are around you. So I'm team living your truth as much as you can. Put it all out there. It's like
Uh,
the people that will be like, oh, he doesn't have a degree, so he's not smart. Do I want that person in my life? No. So like self disqualify
yeah.
and don't get around me with the
Yep.
people I expect. Like you took that leap. Like let's do it. I want that kind of person around. So I'm team just put it out there. Let them know.
Yes, yes, 100%. And to your point, that's the magic that attracts the right people. And that's why I'm like, on what planet does this dude have the balls to call himself a professor, right? I mean, I say that in jest. I say it in jest, but because you illustrate that point so beautifully and so powerfully of like, this is who I am, and it's actually my superpower because I quit school because I had a vision for something different of what success looked like. And I chased that. So, along those lines, You mentioned risky choice. We've talked about that quite a bit, and I want to dig into that a little bit more because it is risky for you to drop out of school, leave all the amazing work and the success you've built on, right? How did you calculate the risk versus reward? And what had to happen for you to take the leap to do that?
Well, I'll tell you the exact moment I knew I was dropping out. I know that one for a fact. But it had been building up for a while. Like I didn't want to go to school in the first place. So if I can back up and tell a bit of a story. So I graduated high school in 2020, and I was set to go play Division 3 volleyball at a school called Keuka College. And so 2020, I graduated during COVID. Like it was drive through, pick up your diploma, drive home. That was my graduation. So after that, I was set to go to this college, and 2 weeks before I'm supposed to go to school, I get a call, and they say, "Hey, is this Dan?" I go, "Yeah." So we have some news about the volleyball team. I was like, "Oh, nice! Like, talk to me." They're like, "Yeah, we're cutting the team. We had to cut 3 men's sports and 3 women's sports because of COVID. So like, there's no team anymore. Like, you still want to go here?" I was like, "That's a large statement to make when I've already picked out my roommate, put in my deposit, and like have all of my stuff like ready to go for school. Like, let me think about it for a second." So I was like, I'm not going to school. Like, I didn't want to actually go. I only went for the sport. So I ended up kind of forced into a gap year of just like, because I thought I was going to be a lawyer or like in finance or something. And I found DoorDash was the biggest thing. My first hit of like, wait, I can like make as much money as I work. Okay. So if I want to work from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. and just deliver food the entire day, like I could, and I could make like a couple $1,000s a week, like 1,500 bucks a week was making just DoorDashing. So that was my first hit of like entrepreneurship. And that was when it kind of got planted in my head that I was like, okay, like I don't know if I want to have like a 9 to 5 like regular job. Like I know I have the ability to work hard. So then I started trying all these new things. This is where like the couch flipping comes in, the trading comes in. I have this t-shirt business, the shorts business. I have all these different businesses. None of them are working because I'm trying all these different things. But I'm like, I'm determined to make this work. And I wasn't going to go to school. I remember I told my parents, I was like, I'm not going to go to college. And that's when they were kind of like, oh, well, you should definitely at least try to go, at least try it out, see what you're missing out on, etc. And I was like, I'm not, no, I'm not going to do it. But then I got an offer to play Division 1 at Long Island University. So I was like, oh, I'm just gonna go do it. I'll try it out for a bit. So I went over there for 2 years. So this has kind of been like bubbling. Like I was never like when I went to LIU, I wasn't like, oh, I'm so excited to like be here for 4 years. I was like, all right, like if this place can prove itself to me, I'll stay. Like that was kind of my mentality. So after the second year, I had my own business. I was starting to make money from school, and I was like, okay, like I'm starting to really think about dropping out. And I was in this class. I think it was finance or economics or one of the business ones. And I would always sit front row, like I want to be a good student. And we're studying for this midterm. And the first question on the test was, what is more liquid, cash or real estate? I was like, oh, this is like the easiest question. Cash, of course. The cash is liquid. Like me here. And I raise my hand. I go, cash. And the professor goes, no, real estate. I was like, what? Hey, mom must be. Can you explain it to me? That's what the book says. I said, okay, but like, why though? Like, I understand that's what the book says, but like, why? And she's like, well, we're not doing this. Whatever the book says. And I was like, well, no. Like, look, I flip around my laptop. I'm like, this is what it says on Google. This is what it says on ChatGPT. Like, this. I'm very certain that it is cash is more liquid than real estate. So like, I'm willing to be challenged, but can you give me some form of reason, please, as to like it's what the book says. I'm sitting there like there's like 30, 40 people in the class. I'm like arguing with the professor I'm like, he just explain it to me. She's like, no, we're moving on to the next question. Moving on to the next question. And I walk up to her afterwards. I said, if this question's on the midterm, I'm gonna put cash and you give me points for it. Like that's just I told her that's what happened. She's like, oh, this is and it was I walked out of that class and that was a good interaction. She's like, oh yeah, I just want to move across the question. And I'm like, still, I want to know why. And she's like, well, it's just what the book says. It's okay. I walk out of that classroom. I was like, I'm leaving. This is stupid. If you break it down, if I wasn't on scholarship, each class, if you break down the tuition for Long Island University, each class was worth $300 that you would take because the tuition is so expensive to go there. And I'm
Right,
like,
right,
this is what they're teaching us for $300 a session. You're going to tell me, you can't even explain to me. I'm not even saying that I'm right. I think I'm right.
right,
But
right,
like, give me some sort of reason. Oh, it's just what
right.
the book says. Okay, why the hell am I here? I could just buy the book and read the book. I'm sure if I read the book, it might tell me why that's the answer. So that was kind of a slap in the face. I mean,
Yeah.
Granted, Long Island is one of the worst schools in the country. It's like 90+% acceptance rate and like 20% graduation rate. So like for someone who had went to like a Ivy or like a big school, like maybe you look at this and be like, oh well, that's not what college was like. It was for where I went. And I was like, I'm not doing, I can't do this anymore. Like this is a complete, I'm taking 2 years of my life behind the barn and shooting it in between the eyes. Like I need to go do something with my life. So it would, to me, I was like, okay, I'd be actively torturing myself if I stayed here for 2 more years. Like, when does the pain of staying the same
Mhm.
overcome the pain of changing? And for me, it was that moment right there when it bubbled over the edge of like, okay, it would be more painful to sit here and do this than it would be to leave. And there was a certain like air of freedom that was around me when I made the choice. And then I committed to it. I made the choice and I stuck with it. The next day, I went to the counselor's office and I was like, "Hey, I got something for you." They're like, "Oh yeah, what classes do you want to take next year?" I was like, "None." And they're like, "Oh, what do you mean? Like you're gonna take a gap year? Like you want to?" I was like, "No, I'm leaving." And it was this lady behind that. She's like, "You're dropping out?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then I closed my file. I walked out, and I had like to this day never felt more like a free man in my entire life. I was
Mhm.
like, it was kind of a moment where you know what? I run this show. That's my life. I was like, I make the choices here. And it's not necessarily about the choices that were made. Because if I stuck with school, it could have been a good choice too.
Sure.
I could kept getting good grades, maybe try and get into an Ivy, go to grad school, and then like
Sure.
meet people there, start a business off of that. Like it's not about the choice you make. It's about the actions that come afterwards. Because a lot of people, when people think of college dropout, they think of like, drug dealer, McDonald's worker, or like not like that's where the mind goes. To me, it's like, well, this is all of the most successful people have left.
Right.
Like, look at the biggest entrepreneurs in the world. Like, which one of them finished college? None of them. So I was like,
Zuckerberg. Yeah. All of them.
uh,
Yep.
Zuckerberg dropped out from Harvard.
Yep.
Like, even that's tougher. So for me, it was just like, you know what? I run this thing, and it was such a level of freedom that I'd felt, and I was like, you know what? Like, I'm gonna keep making choices like this. This is good stuff. So
That's so good. And for the listener, when we talk about dissecting those processes, going back to the congruence that you were talking about, that peace, that freedom, that joy that you got of just walking into that office and being like, I'm done, right? It's not me, it's you. It's so much like, see ya, right? But that emotion indicates alignment with your true purpose and what you should be doing, right? And it doesn't matter what anybody else says. The peace and the joy and that flow state are the indicators that you're on the right path, right? With that being said, you mentioned earlier about that mentor, right? The real estate guy. You wouldn't have met him if you hadn't gone to that school and he hadn't come and he affirmed you down the road, right? So it's like there's all this opportunity there. And I think for you, you're operating at a much more strategic level and seeing the bigger picture rather than just focusing on like, oh, I'm Danny and I just have to make money. You're just like, yo, like the world's a big place and there are a lot of opportunities and I could go down a million paths. Which one do I want to be responsible for?
it's a stressful reality once you realize it. It's like you go from one stress to another. We're like, oh, I have to do this, I have to succeed at this, to like, oh my gosh, like I could literally do anything, but not everything. What do I pick? I remember I had a bit of an existential crisis like about a year ago because I one of our clients like a TEDx speaker and he would do like all of these different like TED talks and we would edit his clips and they would start going viral and I was like, man, like I should be a TEDx speaker. And I'm going down the path, and I'm like, okay, how do you become a TEDx speaker? Okay, you just got to do this, you just got to do this. I'm like, all doable requirements, but they require time. And then I'm looking at the TEDx map, and I'm like, there's TED Talks around the entire world. So I just like spun the like basically just like randomly selected one, and there's a country called Kyrgyzstan in Central Asia, and there's a TED Talk going on like 6 months down the line. I was like, it was a weird feeling. So I was like, if I wanted to, I bet I could speak on the stage in this random country doing a random TED Talk. Like if I set my mind to it, I could email everybody who was involved. I could tell them my story. I could give
Yep.
them a bunch of value.
Yep.
I could qualify for the TED Talk, and I could go give a TED Talk in Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan, if I wanted to. And it was that exact moment. I was like, okay, wow, like there's too much that you can do. You have to decide what you want to do. And it's something that Dan talks a lot about in the coaching as well. It's like go pro, become world class at one thing, and then everything else can start to fall into place. So if I choose to go world class and go pro at social media and just become the best in the world at it, maybe there's an opportunity to go speak at a TED conference because of what I had done with my things. But if you
Exactly.
try to do all of it, you do all of it mediocre and none of it good enough to make all the other stuff happen. So that was one of the reasons I got into business too, because I was like, if there's one thing you could solve for that'll solve all of the other problems, not all of the other problems, but that will like
Sure.
eat a lot of it, it's like if I can make a lot of money, then I can, and I want to be fit, then I can hire the best fitness coach. I can hire the best running coach if I want to get faster when I have money. If I have a lot of money and I want to eat better, I would just hire a chef. I don't have to learn how to cook. I can just hire a chef. I don't have to learn how to get good at laundry. I can just have someone
Buy
else.
your time back.
Exactly. So I
Yep.
was like, okay, if there's one thing that like that will be able to solve a lot of issues, not all of them. Money certainly does not solve everything, but it helps. So I was like, I wanna pick this one thing, focus on that, and then it'll help solve these other problems too.
But that's such a great point too, because humble warriors generally struggle with money and abundance because they're told like wanting money is bad. So I had to go through my own process over years of observing. I already talked about the nonprofit space as an example, right? There are these amazing nonprofits that do incredible work for survivors to get people out of very dangerous situations, but they don't market, they don't do social media, they don't tell people about what they're doing, right? And I just remembered being like, I wish I could do something more. And then I realized if I had more money, I could just fund them myself. So then it becomes the impetus of, no, I need and want to make this money so that I can be generous in all these other ways and create the solutions that I think the world needs, right? And I can also be talking to those people about, hey, I'm giving you this money because I grew my own big brass balls to go out and do this work.
Hmm.
And that's funding this because you matter and your work is so important and I see you, but I need you to see yourself too, right? I need you to get out on that stage and tell people about it because the world needs your gift, right? Bro, this is awesome. We have a little bit of time left. Can I throw a zinger at you?
Throw as many zingers at me as you please.
Okay, so I'm not an Instagram person. I have an Instagram account. I'm actually more a LinkedIn person. That's where more of my
Hmm.
audience is. Would you be open to challenging me on my Instagram so I can grow it? And then my people can see kind of like your process. And then if they want to sign on with you, they know what they're getting with Danny.
Oh, bro, if anybody listening to this wants me to do this exact same thing with their page, just like shoot me a message on Instagram. Like I'll do it. Like one of the things like I will not go on podcasts and just be like, "Yo, work with me." Like I want to go on podcasts and just be an asset and motivate and help out in any way I can. So let's see what we got here. I'm excited for
That's
this.
so generous of you because honestly, like if I'm really honest, I feel shame about my numbers because I haven't cared about Instagram at
Hmm.
all. So, this is it, y'all. All the good, the bad, the ugly. I'm at just under 10,000 views over the last 30 days. Danny, where do you want me to navigate to? What?
Go to your page. I don't care about the insights. I care about what's
Okay.
getting put in. The insights are the output. I want to see the page and the content that's the input. So let's go on here. So the first thing I want to see is how often are we posting? So let's go to that one next to the pin right there.
This one?
Yeah.
Yep, this is from an hour ago.
I go. All right. Can we just click through? I want to see like the cadence over on the side.
Oh, okay, there we go.
6 hours ago, 1 day ago, 1 day ago. Okay, all right. I've seen what I need to see here. You are ahead of already 99% of creators, is what I will say. Like the first thing I'm always looking for is like how often are we posting? People will say, like, oh, I want to grow my Instagram. It's okay. Show me that you want to grow the Instagram by actually posting. So I think it's excellent that you've been posting all of this content. Now, what I would challenge you to do is because okay, I'm looking at like we have from 1 day ago, like 5 posts in the last 24 hours. Is that around active? Like that.
That's a little bit more. I do Monday through Friday, one post a day, and then a bunch of stories.
Okay. So what I saw on these last ones, I saw was we had like 1 hour ago, 6 hours ago,
Mhm.
1 day ago, 1 day ago. So we're already staying super consistent. Now what I want to do is we want to stay one post per day. But what I would do if I were you is I would focus on adding more value to the viewer, like view the content through the viewer's eyes. If I was a random person who'd never seen Alani before, why would I want to watch this video? Why would I care about this content? What was this piece of content so good that I feel the need to just move my finger to click the like button, to move my finger to click the profile button, and then scroll around and then follow? So people go, "Oh, Danny, how do I grow my account?" Well, I would say in the simplest terms as possible, like make stuff that the random person would want to watch. So like if I've never seen Alani before and she pops up on my feed, what's in it for me? And that's what everyone's going to be thinking because when
Right.
we're scrolling on Instagram, Instagram in particular, LinkedIn's a bit of a different game, but
Sure.
Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, we got to think about like who are the people that are coming on here and watching content. For me personally, there's LinkedIn Danny, and then there's TikTok and Instagram Danny, right?
Right.
Like when I'm on LinkedIn, I'm in the proverbial collar and I'm like, okay, let's like post a job listing and maybe consume a bit of content while I'm on here, like posting a job listing. When
Right.
I'm on Instagram, my feet are kicked up in the recliner and I am like, man, give me some memes to like send to my friends, right? Like this is the mindset of Instagram. So I always want to see like, how can we make the content entertaining for the viewer that hooks them in right away and that gives the value? Now, I know that if these are clips from this podcast, like the value's already there. So now it's just a matter of packaging it, right? So
Okay.
every time I look at an Instagram and a video to see how well it's doing, I put it through the Triple H framework that I came up with. It's a variation of a framework that's been used a lot, but Triple H has been the one that I've been able to remember as much as possible, and it's what stuck a bunch for my audience, clients, and people that we've just been in contact with about Instagram. So the first H, we want to know what's the hook, what gets this person to stop, right? So they're scrolling on Instagram. What gets them to stop? Is it something that's said that was like a bold statement? Is there something on the screen that like makes them raise an eyebrow and goes just like, I have to just watch this video? Like, what gets the person to stop scrolling on the page? That's the hook. Second one is how do we hold the suspense? So I'll give a good example and a bad example of holding suspense in the video. So a bad example would be we had one client and we went I put him on blast on our community coaching call because he completely violated the second H. He was like, it was a quiz. Which is the answer? A, B, C, or D? And it was 3 seconds in. He's like, which one's the answer? A, B, C, or D? And then immediately was like, it's D. I was like, okay. How do you expect anybody to watch after that? Because they already got what they came here for. So if I sign up to watch the video to see what the answer is going to be, A, B, C, or D. If you could keep me entertained enough, I will stay until I get the answer to that question. So if you give me the golden nugget right away, regardless of how good your statements are afterwards, I'm just not going to stick around. I already got what I came here for, so I'm just going to scroll. So it's how can we tell a story in a way that hooks the person in, holds their suspense, and then gives the payoff at the end of the video. Because the one metric that determines a viral video, I learned this from Adley Kinsman. She is like the queen of
Adley. Yep.
like Adley's been a huge mentor of mine on social media, and she was like, Danny, the one metric that matters the most on social media. You see, how I'm holding the suspense right now. You're like wondering what's this metric, and I'm just gonna keep telling the story. I'm gonna talk about Adley. I'm gonna talk about how we're on the coaching call, and you're like, Danny, what the hell is the metric? I wanna know what the thing is, and then I'm gonna wait until the end of the time to say that the metric is your average watch time over the total video time. So if I have a 40-second video, I would want a 20% or if I have a 40-second video, I'd want a 20-second average watch time to get me viral. So I'm like, where could people possibly fall off on this video? Suspense is the hardest one. It's the hardest of all of them. I would say for people who haven't made a ton of social media content and haven't like worked on scripting videos before, what I would recommend going for is just like spend all your time on the hook. Like what gets this person to stop? Like for example, if I was telling a story about like how to stay in integrity and how I like dropped out of school and I did all this stuff, and I said somewhere in that sentence, like, I dropped out of college with perfect grades and a D1 scholarship, like that's a bold thing to say.
Mhm.
So I could take that and put it at the beginning of the video so that people are like, oh, wait, what? And that's actually a video on my page where I said that exact thing. And it was when I had like 500 followers, got me like 40,000 views because it was a bold claim at the beginning. So if I were anybody that's listening to this that hasn't scripted videos before, I would focus on the hook as much as possible because your video could be awesome. Like you could say the most inspiring thing, you could give the most sauce you've ever given before. But if no one watches past 2 seconds, they're not even going to see it. So
Totally.
I would focus on the hook. And then the third H I call happy. Is the person happy that they watched the entire video? Or
Oh,
did you just hook them in, have the suspense, and then there was no value and they just wasted their time? So the framework for how to think about a good happy video is like if you're giving valuable content out, it's like, would I pay $5 to watch this video? Like, is the information in this reel worth $5 to watch? If I would genuinely say, yeah, I would have paid $5 for that information, think about how much goodwill you're banking with the world of like every video
mm,
putting out $5 for every person that's seen it. And even if you're getting 300, 500 views per video, like that's goodwill getting banked $2,500 per video. If you would literally have paid $5 for the information inside of your video every single time
That
you.
is amazing.
So the takeaway, and I have a tendency to ramble a bit because I get so passionate about the social
Nope,
media.
I love it.
People are like, people are like, oh, Danny, it's just, you get lucky growing on social media, or like, oh, it's like playing the lottery. I'm like, in a sense, it is, but like, it really is a science. There's like for the most part, you can look at a video and be like, is it going to do good or is this not going to do good? Of course, there's edge cases, but like, it really is a science. I get very passionate about it. So that's what I would focus on. What's your hook? Can you hold the suspense? But like, don't let it corrupt you. If you're
Sure.
writing a script and you're like, oh, but my suspense isn't perfect or my hook, it's like, get the video, just getting the reps out there is what
Right.
matters the most. The way that I like to go about doing this is I'll batch all of my content. So Sunday is my content day. So I'll film 7 videos on Sunday. But my thing is with the 7 videos, is I'm looking at the last 7 from the week before, and I'm intentionally making one thing better about them. I'm intentionally going to make a better hook in these videos. I'm intentionally going to make the video more valuable because that was my hypothesis as to why they didn't do as good as I wanted them to. I'm just going to make one thing better every week. And most people, they just don't get started. The
Yeah.
next majority of people, they get started and then John makes fun of them or they didn't get a million views right away, so they just quit. Few people actually stick with it. The people who are going to stick with it, this is who I'm talking to right now. If you're going to stick with it and actually start making content, look at it through the eyes of your audience. Well, like if you can define your target audience, like mine is Drew. I really like Drew as like my target avatar for who I make content for. I always say, I'm like, I'm talking to Drew in this video. What gets Drew to stop on his feed? Like and just be, oh, well, I have to watch this. So just think about it like it's like Dan talks about in his coaching as well. It's like make it about them, not about you. I like to look at
Yes.
it through the lens of would I follow myself if I had no idea who I was? And
Mm.
when the answer is genuinely yes, you watch the numbers start to skyrocket.
Mm.
What, like legit, anyone listening to this right now, like look at your, you don't need me to audit it. You don't need anybody to audit it. Look at the page and be like, if this was a random person that I'd never seen before and this page got put in front of me, this video got put in front of me, would I follow myself?
Ooh, that is such a good question. Oh man, that's so good. Okay, so Danny, I've got all these clients in mind that they're these badasses. They get so much stuff done, but this is a space that really scares them. So now they have the Triple H framework. Now they understand, like, okay, I have to create some kind of avatar and cater to that person, right? Is this something that they would be interested in? So for, you know what? I'm going to do a Danny challenge and I'm going to post about it. So how long should I be using this framework to test it out?
I would say the same response I have. This is going to be my response to a lot of things. Is like, what's the goal? Now, is the goal to just go 0 to 10K? So my goal with the page, like I talked about earlier in the podcast, like I had a chip on my shoulder. I was like, I'm gonna grow this thing to 100K, like or bust. That's what it was. So I was posting 4 times a day aggressively for like a few months, and I grew the account really fast because that was my goal. I wouldn't recommend that for anybody. Like it was taking up my entire life. Like that's not worth it. But if your goal is to build long-term brand, to have your ideal clients be attracted to you through your content, my friend, you're gonna have to stay consistent. Like
Sure.
I view this as something. It's like it's got to be every day. Like I would be posting every single day. Like it,
Including weekends.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But we don't have to make videos every day. There's a difference
No,
between
sure.
making videos every day and posting every day. I make my videos on Sunday. Of course, I'm thinking about content all the time. I'm writing scripts for clients. We're writing strategies, but like
Mhm.
Danny's content gets done on Sunday. And then
Yeah.
my team takes care of it. They're editing the videos, they're posting them, they're reporting back the
Yep.
analytics to me.
Yep.
But I'm writing the scripts, I'm getting in front of the camera, and I'm being myself because the odds are, if you're listening to a podcast like this, you are a good person and you know it deep down.
Totally. And they do know it.
It's just a matter of getting your message out there. And it's
Totally.
weird at first. Like you need the reps.
Right.
And like what I always recommend before I start to work with someone on content for the first time. I'm like, please, like let's say we schedule a shoot like 2 months down the line. I'm like, okay, like we'll do all this content in 2 months. I'm gonna say, I don't need you to post them, but make a video of yourself talking about something every single day up until then. You don't have to
Right.
post it. You can take the video, put it in your camera roll, and then delete it right after if you want to. But like you got to get comfortable on camera because it's not a weird thing. It's only weird if you make it a weird thing. For me, like when I'm by myself, I can be totally cool on camera. Like it's just
Yes.
around, but like when I'm back home and you got like family over and you like even
Yes.
people that love you and like they're supportive of you,
Yes.
like, well, they're gonna hear me talking and that's like kind of weird. So it's just getting used to that.
Yeah.
And for me, I went to the extreme and was making a lot of content like in public, at malls, and all over the place. And like it'll intensify the nerves even more. So
Totally. Totally.
like
Yeah.
later.
No, that's great input. And I batch content on Fridays and my team does all the stuff as well. But you know what? I accept the challenge. I'm going to do Saturdays and Sundays too. And you know what? For the listener, because my listener, like, they need baby steps. So,
Mm.
guys, we're going to go 30 days on, I'm going to call it the Danny Challenge. And anytime you're doing the challenge, I want you to tag Danny, tag me, so we can see how it goes. I'm gonna check in with you guys. But Danny, this has been incredible. Oh my gosh, I'm so thankful for you and the work that you do because it's so easy for people to judge folks. But to your point, it's all about how do you define success on your terms, staying true to yourself, integrity, right? Integrity is that thing that it doesn't matter if other people know, you know if you're a person of integrity or not. And for me, I view it as there have been trillions of people in the world. You, Danny, exist right now for a reason. And I don't think that that was a mistake. And there's never been a Danny, and there's never going to be another Danny. And you have a very specific mission. And I know you are encouraging and inspiring so many people. And I'm just super thankful for you and the work you do. Are there any kind of last minute points you want to leave for my people?
If you've made it this far, I have one final parting word for you, one final parting reminder. And if it's needed, put it everywhere. Put it on the wallpaper on your phone. Remind you, put a sticky note on the laptop. It's that you're in the driver's seat. Don't forget that. This is your life. Live it the way you want to do it. And if you do that, the right people will attract themselves, my friend. You are in the driver's seat. This has been a real pleasure, and I really appreciate you inviting me on here. And I hope it was valuable for the audience. If anyone has any questions, like I want to be as much of a resource as I can. So whether it's social media, motivation, you need a bit of a kick in the rear, like let me know.
Bro, totally. And if people want to sign up for your class, how can they do that?
Just shoot me a message on Instagram at Professor Danny is the page name. Just like let me know what your question is about social media, and we'll be able to sort it.
Well, thank you so much, Danny. This has been such an honor. For the rest of the listeners, thank you so much for being here with us today. Remember, the world needs your gift, and the weakness that you think is the worst weakness ever is actually the key to unlocking your greatest superpower. So we will see you next time on the Humble Warrior podcast. I'm so proud of you guys. I love you. See you soon. If you enjoyed this episode and would like some help overcoming your imposter syndrome, check out the free life purpose exercise on my website and subscribe to my blog. If you already know what your life purpose is and are ready to crush or harness your imposter syndrome, then you're going to love my best-selling book, The Least of Us: How Your Weakness Points to Your Greatest Power, available on Amazon and all major book retailers. Or you can hit me up at alani@mightysparrowcoaching.com to discuss private coaching or corporate and government training. That's ALANI@mightysparrowcoaching.com. Listen, there's only ever been one you, and there will only ever be one you. And you have a specific gift to give that the world desperately needs. Don't let your self-doubt be the thing preventing you from living your most joyful and impactful life. Until next time, I'm always cheering you on.